Authorizing some of the contractors to start. It's going to start the day after kids get out. You'll see some trailers there maybe before then, but the work won't start until they get out. They'll meet tomorrow to go over some more details. That's all I have.
Mrs. Hardy?
I don't have a report this evening.
Okay. Mr. Siri?
Okay, Parks and Rec met last week. More and more requests are coming in to utilize some of the parks in town. There's been a request for Mothers Against Gun Violence to use the town green on the 2nd of next month that they acted on. And then there's also a request by Jehovah's Witnesses to use it to hand out leaflets and so forth like that. And as Mr. Putnam pointed out, you can't, parks are meant for people to meet and so forth like that. So they are moving both of those forward, and pretty much every request. And they're pretty much they're hiring their summer staff for their Parks and Rec programs that'll be, over by the middle school in Lily B. Haynes, as well as getting all the gate attendants and so forth in place. And this weekend there'll be the jet ski event again on Saturday and Sunday coming up. So this year it'll be before the summer season hits, so minimal impact. That's it.
Great. Last time was in the fall, and we had a perfectly great summer day.
Yeah.
In the end of September, and everyone wanted to go to the beach, and we had this great event going on down. So I encourage people to go down to. It's at the Boardwalk Beach, right? It's at Cheney Beach.
Cheney Park.
Cheney Park. The jet ski thing. It's pretty cool.
What happened with the issue of camping?
No camping.
No.
Zero camping up in McCook's. That won't happen anymore. They're getting hotels and going to the campgrounds. They didn't think that worked out either. So there was mutual agreements on that. We've had a busy couple of weeks. Little League, we threw out the first pitch at Little League a couple of weeks ago, and the kids are out there, sometimes freezing, sometimes in the drizzle, but they're out there playing baseball, and that's a good thing. I went to the Niantic Firehouse banquet a couple of Saturdays ago, where we honored Ron Pringle for his decades of service to our town. Skipper's Restaurant just celebrated 15 years, their anniversary, and they had a little function and our ribbon cutting, I guess it was. We cut a ribbon on their 15th anniversary, had some cake, and got a T-shirt out of it. We at the Senior Center, we had a volunteer celebration. There are 100 people that step up and just do things at the as volunteers at the Senior Center, and we turned it around and thanked them and waited on them for a change, and we're so appreciative. I've met with the DOT on Route 156 is going to be remilled and repaved. They'll do that after Labor Day, after the summer season. We're trying to push that schedule as far back as possible, but we'll go from the bridge all the way to the town line in Old Lyme. Actually, we'll stop at the Rocky Neck Connector. It has to be done. 156 is in horrible shape. You'll pay attention to it next time and see how bad it is. Next spring or fall, they will continue that paving through Old Lyme to the highway. 156, that's a bigger project. I've also met with them on the bridge project on Route 1 at where Lover's Lane and Heritage Road is. It will be a far less complicated process than the last bridge that they put together at the end of Upper Patagonia Road. It's gonna be a little bit of a headache, but they're gonna shut the traffic down for a period of 4 to 6 days, replace the bridge, and open it back up. Of course, there'll be a lot of prep work before and after. They're also redoing Niantic River Bridge in about a year's time, and at some point Exit 74, which is still on the list to be redone. Fourth graders yesterday got a chance to do their annual outdoor classroom at Hole in the Wall, where we invite all fourth graders in town, all 3 schools, to come out and learn about the environment, learn about what goes on in our seaside town. And my kudos to Diane Swan. Diane Swan and Victor Bene, who put that together, and it's well received. I met the new warden and had a meeting with her, the new warden of York, and we'll be doing some work with our first responders. Will be going out there to look over the property and to work in tandem with the prison facility. We did, Mr. Salerno mentioned that we had a presentation for all land use commissions. We invested in our land use commissions so they have up-to-date information and really kind of open their minds up a little bit about what the future of zoning is and land use, planning, wetlands, conservation, etc. And it was well attended, well received, and Mr. Arndt is no stranger to this town. He's been here 2 times before this presentation. It was money well invested, and everybody came out with giving 5 stars to the presentation. It was a 6-hour long presentation. We had the day before, we got an award from CCM, I believe, to our health and safety committee, and we took that money and had an outside presenter come in and talk about customer service to all our town employees that we could afford to put into a room. We had 2 sessions during the day. We always have a health fair or a safety fair during the year, and this one was more customer service and getting along and working together as a team. And it's always important. And again, people were very, very enthused about what they got out of that. So happy about that. I spoke to the East Lyme Division of the Chamber of Commerce and gave the State of East Lyme address, and we had a good crowd up at the Sound Apartments. Village Mortgage is going to be cutting a ribbon tomorrow. They've opened up into the, I guess they call it Bayside, the new building on Main Street. They're replacing one of the stores there with Village Mortgage. You know, Jay Johnston, he's opening up his mortgage office there. If you're around at 4:30, come on and join in. Bet there'll be cake. If you haven't bought your bricks for the new park, do so. Go to Parks and Rec, go to Mermaid Liquors or Smith Acres.
Not the Smith Harris House, Smith Acres.
They're running out of space. We have just a finite number of bricks to sell, a finite number of spaces, and we're down to the end. So if you would like to leave a legacy on at our new park, please do so. Everyday Democracy is a group that encourages people who are involved in their communities, especially CEOs, town managers, mayors, first selectmen, to participate in group discussion. I did a TED Talk on that group with that group. We call it a TED Talk these days. I think that's self-describes what it was. And I talked to the group for about 30 minutes and did a video conference on our volunteer corps, which has received accolades throughout the state. In fact, CCM is going to make a big deal about it. We're putting hundreds of people together with need in our town for volunteerism and volunteer opportunities. So we had a newsletter that tried to go out today. It didn't go out, by the way. We hit a snag with that, and I'll talk to you later about that. But our newest update of volunteer opportunities in the town will be coming to an email mailbox near you, as long as you've signed up. And I accepted a check from a great group of students at the East Lyme High School called the Key Club, that group, who, when the band shell was vandalized back in the fall, I believe, they saw a need. They said, well, let's raise money through the year, and we'll present the town with a check to help defray the cost of security cameras in the park. And we've accepted a check for over $500 that these kids went out and sold hot chocolate. You may have even bought a cup of hot chocolate at Tri-Town. And they did some other fundraising events in town, and that was again homegrown. That was organic. That was from within. They got together. They decided there was a need, and they came up with an opportunity to help. We didn't ask for it, but we'll receive it, and we'll continue to grow the inventory of cameras up in our parks, so we can avoid future vandalism, or when there is vandalism, that we can deter it and catch culprits. That's my report this evening. There's a lot going on in town. Of course, budget. We'll have a town referendum on May 24th, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And please get out there and vote on this budget. Public comment.
Good evening, everybody. Wes Furman, 178 Boston Post Road. Just checking in, back on January 3rd, if we check the minutes, I asked a question about water at the Blackhawk dock. 5 months later, and we still have no water down there. The business owner is actually here tonight, Mr. Greg DeBrule, and I'm just trying to help him and see what's going on. We got the water lines, tore up the road, and got water down there. That is a business that brings money into this town. Patron shop in our stores. I know I've jump-started a lot of their batteries before in the parking lot, and that's a business that needs fresh water. Washing your boat with salt water, washing all his gear with salt water is not good. And now that we have spent the money for the bathrooms and got water down there, we need to get water to him, which will be metered, and make the town some more money. So I'm just looking for an update on that, if we can see what's going on. We're 5 months later, it's coming, his prime season is starting. How can we get Mr. DeBrule some water? That's it.
Anybody else like to speak?
Good evening. My name is Tim Londrigan. I'm the owner and operator of Niantic Bay Shellfish Farm. A couple things. I actually came to talk about water too, in more than one way. I did notice that we're putting in the water lines down to the park. I've had multiple conversations with First Selectman Nickerson about this, and we've gone back and forth. And I honestly believe a working waterfront in this town, using those docks that were meant for commercial purposes, fishermen, freshwater would be incredible. And I've thrown some ideas out. I even have some more if we want to chat later. But the other thing, as has been noted by a couple of our first selectmen, is tomorrow there will be a public hearing, 6:30, Waterford Town Hall. It doesn't directly involve me, but it regards a policy which would affect my ventures in the Niantic River, which I also believe our first selectman this evening has said, let's not hold up the process, but respect the past. And that's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking to make progress in this town, help our river, help our community, while respecting our past. Our heritage has come from the river, it should stay with the river, and that's really what I'm looking to do. And Joni at the Smith Harris house, currently, she made a lot of great points, and we talk about the history of farming, and I don't see why it should end in 1955. We still eat food, believe it or not, and I really think that hopefully in another 50 years, the tagline might read something like Avery Smith Harris Londrigan. I'm not sure. But those are my comments. I will be here after the meeting. If any of the selectmen would like to speak on any issue, I'll be more than willing to address those. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Good luck in your process. Marching forward. Greg?
Good evening, everybody. My name's Greg DeBrule. I'm the owner and the operator of the Blackhawk. I know I can be a pain in the neck to you, Mark. I'm not trying to be. But it's just, I need fresh water down there. That's all there is to it. I've been bringing in fresh water. And I've got two heads. We bring over 10,000 people into the town. I just want everybody to know that. Well over 10,000. Just this past weekend, we had people. We probably had almost 250 people. They stayed at the hotels. They eat at the restaurants. All I'm trying to do is get water down there just to clean the heads instead of fresh salt water. Salt water, I had to put 2 new heads in this year. Okay, Bob Cassidy put two new heads in. Why? Salt water. It ruins everything, So I'm just, now's the time to do it. I know the machine, unfortunately, is moving to the west down there. I'm down there every day, obviously, the boat fish today. But it's not a big connection from where you're going to put the portable heads to where you can connect to the pipes that are already there underground. I know Mark and I have been working with it, and I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention, that's all. Just imagine yourself without water. I take kids, we bring it in now, and it is a pain in the neck. I had to put a trailer hitch on, get a trailer. I had to get 2 tanks. I gotta pump it from one tank to another. And we're always out of it. The mates always use more than they should, and it's just a hassle, that's all. It's just a hassle. It's not asking for a lot. Now's the time to do it. The lines are there. It's only a couple of feet. Everybody needs it down there, you know. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Anyone else? Okay. Selectmen comments, I have plenty. We talked about this already, okay? We've already increased the line that's going from 156 down there to accommodate extra water, not just for the bathrooms we're putting in. There's no water down there right now, so we can't give you water.
No, I know.
Well, Wes kind of indicated, let's get him some water. Well, there's not going to be water there for a little bit, first of all. Second of all, you're speaking to the wrong commission. I think you might know this, Greg, but this is, the Water and Sewer Commission is not a town agency. It's a separate company, and they meet next Tuesday. You can certainly go to their public delegation and talk to them, but they already know. It's not on their agenda for Tuesday. It will be on their June agenda to talk about how they're going to get around the problem of we weren't granted a water extension. And I talked to you in the halls about this already, Greg, and Wes, you must know this. You're going to keep bringing it up. It's not an extension, and legally, we can't just take it and split it and put meters, 1 meter, more than 1 meter on this line. Legally, we can't just put, we'll put a splitter here, we'll put 4. We can't. Or we'd have to have applied to the Department of Public Health, who watches our water commission, our sewer commission very tightly. But we're going to work around it. We're going to figure out a way. I wouldn't have increased the cost of the project, which has come under some criticism, to get you the water, to get you the line that's bigger without delivering the water to you. It will happen. Your business is valued. Other fishing boats that are there now or might be there in the future, Mr. Londrigan, are valued in our town, and that whole industry is valued. That's why we have a town dock. We wanted to keep that heritage years ago, and Mrs. Hardy was part of a decision of keeping that dock going and how we were going to keep it going. We want to deliver water there. We're also going to deliver a first-class restroom facility for your patrons. I know you just replaced heads and all that, but it'll be a first-class operation down there for your patrons who are valued, who bring business to the town. 10,000 is a big number, so good for you. And I know you run 12 months a year, so thank you for what you do, and we'll work together on that. Really, it's on my working agenda for because I'm the chairman of the Water and Sewer Commission too. It is on the working agenda for June, how to deal with the split and how we're going to do that. Whether it's just going to flow out of our meter and you'll pay us a gross number, or we know how much the bathroom should be, and anything above that will come to the dock, and you guys are going to have to figure out how you're going to split that. We'll figure that out, and we'll just get around a table. We'll figure it out, because when you do that, we'll find a solution. Absolutely. All right. It was a good meeting tonight. Any other comments from Selectmen?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're out.